This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy and other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Two teams are going to be fighting for a dub, and two teams are fighting to salvage the year and make playoffs. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to VCT Americas, coming at you live from the Riot Games Arena in Los Angeles, California. That's right, I said it right that time. I'm Golden Boy, you got Ender Mimi, and we have just coming off of his last place finish at the Silverstone Grand Prix. It's Baby Bay. Hello, buddy. How you doing? What is that?
That's the imaginary champagne bottle that I won.
Dude, I thought you were playing like Power Wash Simulator.
Is that what I was saying? Honestly, I probably was doing
I thought he was doing something else, so I'm glad you clarified it. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Whoa! That's not the race that I was thinking.
He had a confetti cannon, of course.
Anyway.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you missed us, because we certainly missed you. Let's go ahead and dive into what happened yesterday, shall we? Because those matches had big impacts for our playoff qualifications. Now, first things first, we saw G2 Esports take on Crew Visa, and the question on our minds was, what's going on in Camp Crew? Can they manage to rally back? Can they manage to find that magic essence that they had in stage one? And unfortunately, didn't really pan out that way.
It should have been a 2-0, though. They dominated here on Lotus. Keza was playing some incredible VALORANT. I think they were calling a great attack side, but then we got to Ascent, another map where they were looking really strong throughout, but G2 came alive in overtime. Icy especially having a big performance to get them to split.
I mean, G2's backs were against the wall in round 23, and then Icy gets a 3K, gets
that
another
G2
one.
resiliency, man.
In OT, it was pretty wild to see them come away with series victory after that. But my new question for G2 is, can they ever win a first round?
Yeah, that's tough.
Base, very true. But then we took a trip over with Loud and Leviathan. Now, Loud have always gotten the better of Leviathan, but Baby Bay, it was King and the Crew's day today. They looked lights out there.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, the first map, it was pretty competitive. It was close. I liked what we were seeing from Loud, and the changes were good. Just not enough time with that change being made. Like, they couldn't get it together.
It really makes me think about how Loud's season would have went if they had made those changes a little sooner, if they hadn't gone for the Sodak Neon experiment and instead leaned into 2E's playing this duelist role instead. I think it could have been a very different story, but that's the nature of the format.
Yeah.
You lose a few games and your season is done.
It's like, you know, there was so much conversation about what's the meta, what's this, what's that. And I think ultimately, especially for a situation like Loud, just play what you're comfortable with, right? I mean, granted, you know, 2E's not playing the, you know, like the controller role, certainly did play a little bit of a role there, but it's very clear that this Loud team's going to have to rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, he said he wasn't comfortable doing it, but he was clearly the best duelist on that team, and he looked great on Jet. He looked very comfortable on the Jet, so even on the Raze, he didn't look that bad. So, yeah, I wish they would have made the move sooner, but like you said, that's a punishing format for you, so.
Yeah. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Well, let's take a look at the standings and where we are right now in this competition. So, Leviathan, Sentinels, and G2 Esports have clinched their spots in the playoffs, but underneath them, Cloud9, Crew Visa, and 100 Thieves are fighting for those last three spots. And in the bubble, you have teams like Evil Geniuses and NRG, but important to note that the Brazilian squads, unfortunately, Loud, Furia, and mibr, 9th, 10th, and 11th place respectively, are out of contention for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's brutal for those teams down below, but this is a huge direction for Leviathan. Now in playoffs, they're going to be one game away from making it to Champions Seoul. They have the buffer of that lower bracket as well. They've given themselves a great position despite the struggles in Stage 1 playoffs and Shanghai with their stellar group stage in both stages.
I think it's pretty clear, at least to me, that they're sort of the team to beat right now, but of course, Sentinels, G2, not very far behind them. I'm seeing, like, even just looking at standings right now, obviously those three teams have qualified, but I think there's a pretty big tier gap in my mind between those three teams and the other five that are fighting for the remaining three spots.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Now, of course, coming up today, we've got two matches. Now, one is going to be do or die, and the other one you know, it's going to be a good match. You know, it's going to be mibr facing off against Furia. That's game number 1. We already mentioned before, both of these teams out of playoff contention, but they're still looking to get a win, especially for mibr, who desperately wants to be able to pick up that win. And then later on, we're going to see a little NA clash as we have NRG taking on Cloud9, which that matchup has big ramifications. That's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, Cloud9 yet to win a series this stage, but with a good stage 1, a win today clinches them playoffs. And for NRG, it's just about staying alive now.
Yeah, and I think this is a big test for NRG to see if it actually works, if their win over Crew was actually legitimate. And honestly, with the way that they played, I think that it was showing a lot of good signs of those fundamentals on the info comp specifically.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%, right? We're not huge fans of the Haven, but I think both these teams coming into this week as well are going to be focusing for NRG, building off of that success. And for C9, they have to figure out some way to solve their attacking sides. This team cannot win a round on attack. NRG is going to have done their homework and be continuing to abuse that. So I want to see big shifts out of C9.
Indeed. One of the big minds that's going to be making that happen is FNS. And actually following NRG's huge win over Crew last week, Elizabeth sat down with FNS and Sam for a chance to chat about their return to VCT Americas and the road ahead.
Hey everyone, it is Elizabeth here with Finesse and Sam after defeating Crew 2-1, their first win in Stage 2 after the kind of NRG rebuild. Congratulations, first of all, boys.
Thank you.
Super basic question, how does it feel to have your first win out of Stage 2?
Feels good. I mean, obviously, we were looking for, honestly, at that point, a map win, not even a match, because we were 0-4. So, and then we lost our first map. We're like, oh boy. But yeah, it feels really, really good to have that kind of redemption game because 1, for momentum going into the next match, 2, because we absolutely had to win anyway, and you know, keep those playoff hopes alive potentially. And then 3, just Crew being the good, like a really, really good team. It's a good win for us to get under our belt.
I wanted you to go back to the very beginning. We're here now, but let's go back to the beginning where I want you to describe to me when and how you were approached to be part of Stage 2. Did you guys discuss it before? Like, did you guys have like a private Discord call to be like, hey, do we really want to do this? And when did you say, yes, we will join NRG for Stage 2?
I mean, yeah, they approached me, and then just to see if like I was interested.
Separately, they approached you first?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not playing without FNS. You guys know how it is. And then they already knew asking me, but I just told them. And then for the actual decision, I went into like a private call with John, and I was like, yo, what do you want to do? Because like, if he doesn't want to play, I don't need to play.
If I didn't want to be here, I would just tell him, I don't want to be here. I'm not doing this. But in general, it's still great. It's just not great when you're losing, which is, we came off of a loss at Champs.
Right.
And then we were losing more. So it's just a very, very annoying and sad and depressing situation. But like I said, luckily today we were able to, you know, have that kind of win, and hopefully that's a stepping stone for better things in the future.
You talked about, I believe in your Champs vlog way back when you guys, the Billy loss, that you felt that as if you needed to step down.
Yeah.
And that it was the natural course of things. What is the difference between now and then? Because arguably you are coming into a more competitive Americas.
The difference between back then and now mainly is just it's a challenge, right? We've been out of the game for a while now. So that alone in itself, it's like, okay, can we do this?
Right.
And that challenge kind of enticed me. So there's that.
Can I quickly interrupt you? You called it a challenge. Did you weren't sure you could do it, or?
No, for sure. There's no way to know.
Okay.
Right? Because you out for 10 months, you're in a completely different meta. And in this game, when a meta changes, it is very, very difficult when you aren't a part of it initially to catch up to it. And so obviously that was always going to be a struggle, so you don't actually know. So that's something you just kind of, for me, I just want to prove to myself that I can do it, just like I guess anybody else would. Overall, the team's vibes feel slightly, well, actually there's a lot of positivity radiating overall. There's a lot more, things are being communicated a lot more. I think last year, people held things in and bottled up, and that was very, very bad. And when things didn't go our way, it was just silence. No one would say anything, right? And it's one of those things where you just have to like talk. And this year, the team is, even specifically with Ethan, and I think he helps facilitate along with Chet. I think a lot of like Vic and Austin as well, everyone's just doing such a good job of like saying exactly how they feel so that there's you don't have to hold that in. Everyone just trusts each other a lot more.
Dan, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think individually for me, I think I've been way more open and talkative about my own opinions on whether it's the game or outside the game. I think last year was kind of like my rookie year, so sometimes I'd be like, is it my turn to say something? So sometimes I would keep stuff in, but I feel like this year, if I ever have like a strong opinion on something, I would voice it now. But yeah.
I love to hear that growth in communication. Yeah. It's healthy, that is great. Something else I want to ask you guys is, when you were approached to, you know, kind of be part of this mini rebuild, if you will, did you think that you were the two that could fix the issues, or could it be others that could fix the issues as well?
Just didn't know. No clue. Obviously, the community was on our side because Energy was losing, and then if someone's losing, you want to pile on. And I think they got the full brunt of that, which honestly, I feel bad for Demon One and Marv for that, because they don't deserve that kind of slander. They're still great players. And then, you know, coming into them getting us, if anything, it just puts more pressure on us. And again, that goes back to what I said about it being a challenge. But at no planet where we're like, yeah, we're going to fix this. Like, hell yeah.
Give me the hammer and the nails.
All it is you try. You try every day, you fail, you try again. And last year we failed, so we're trying again. Are
you committed to this long term as a rebuild? Or was this kind of like, we'll see if we can make it to champs and we'll see how far it goes? Or if all goes according to plan, will we see you next year in the 2025 VCT Americas? I mean, I miss streaming, I'll be honest. Just because that's separate from competing. It's not like I miss streaming because I hate competing. It's nothing like that. It's just, you just miss something that you loved so much. So in that sense, yeah, I do miss it, but I already know that I'm going to have plenty of off season to stream anyway. So it's likely, very likely, that you'll see us back next year. Sam?
I mean, yeah, it's the same thing with me. I loved streaming. I did it every day, 12 hours a day. I definitely miss it, but I mean, I consider myself somewhat young, even though I'm 22 now.
Ancient.
Yeah. But I feel like for me, it's kind of like, if I have the opportunity to play, then I don't see why not. If I gave you an ultimatum, streaming or competing, and both were guaranteed careers, what would you choose? Finesse?
Come on, man, I'm 32. I'm picking streaming. Come on. That's an easy one.
But the competitive bug isn't strong.
Always will be, but you're asking me, like, you know, if it was an ultimatum, like something's on the line, I have to choose. Of course, I would have to choose something that has longevity, which streaming does. Competing ends at some point, no matter what. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are, it will end. Streaming can last for however long you want it to.
Would you coach?
Maybe. I mean, I'd probably be open to it, depending on what team it was, depending on so many different factors. But as of like right now, no.
All right. What about you, Sam? The ultimatum.
I mean, yeah. Okay. If the ultimatum was competing with FNS or streaming with FNS, I would compete with FNS. But if he's done, then I'm done.
I hope you're proud of what you've done today, and I hope you're proud of how you've impacted this game. And I am so excited to see you guys continue your competitive or streaming career. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that awesome interview. And, of course, FNS and Sam for their time. We'll see NRG versus Cloud9 later on today. Still lots to talk about with that matchup, but don't worry, we got you covered. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause, though, because coming up next, guys, we got mibr versus Fury. We're going to talk all about that matchup, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the other side.
Match of the century.
Bom trabalho da equipe do mibr, mas sobra somente ele. Mazin fez metadinha, vai ser direto, não parou. Tenta o confronto, vem ele! Ali o Gabriel dando ali pra cima do Lázaro. Vem seguir mais, Babi. Cadê?
Ready to fight. fight. Ready to fight.
Welcome back to VCT Americas. Time to dive into our first match of the day. You got mibr taking on Furia. Now, we got to address, you know, the elephant in the room. Unfortunately, the elephant that hasn't picked up many wins yet. Because the thing is that Brazilian VALORANT has been struggling. It seems like all the Tier 1 teams have not really been able to find their footing this year. And the region's best player is Aspas on Leviathan. So it's like, where do we go from here with Brazilian VALORANT, right? Because it still feels like they're trying to find the right pieces that they can like implement into these teams. And so far, it's come with middling results.
I think one of the hardest things for the Brazilian teams, as it is for the LATAM teams as well, as now one of our LATAM teams has decided to go to an international roster instead, is that when you are a Portuguese-speaking team, you're kind of locked into the talent and the opportunities you can get for Brazil. And when you're scrimming, when you're playing, you're doing that here in LA. The teams are living here during the season. And so I think it can be a little bit hard to kind of know what's best in Tier 2. It's a huge risk, actually, to bring up a player, get them a visa, bring them all the way to the United States to play for your team. So I think a lot of the times our Brazilian teams are kind of locked into a lot of the same players going back and forth. And it's a big risk to have to make a roster change.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I think this format is just pretty tough, right? Because your record carries over. If you have a rough start to the season, even if you're trying to take a risk, make a change, it's really hard to get out of those ruts.
Yeah, and G2 is the only team that successfully has done a change like that. I mean, apart from Heretics, who have just a 6-man.
They don't count. They're over across the pond.
They don't count. Right? They don't count at all. But yeah, making a change so late. I mean, we've seen so many of the teams get affected by it like crazy, and G2 were the only ones that were able to pull it off. So this is clearly teams looking at rebuilding for next year.
Yeah, and you'd also say, you look at our Brazilian teams that have played and made a change. I think mibr have looked stronger since stage 1. Not by a ton, but they have looked stronger. Furia were able to take that game off under Thieves. So it's like, it's gotten better, but the start of the year is where I see the big problem, right? All these teams have made roster changes, and they started off dreadfully. Yes, they've started to pick things up now, but there's just not enough time built into the schedule for them to make that full-on pivot to actually see those results in the longer term.
I'm not sure exactly what led to this, but I think our Brazilian teams, for the most part, also didn't find the right read to the meta right away. We saw an mibr that was still playing most of their comps from last year. Similar.
They were playing double duelist still.
we saw Loud, who was taking risks and trying to kind of pave their own way with the Phoenix Breach stuff that ended up not really working out. And again, it's a short season. If you don't get things right off the gate and can't adjust super quickly, things will snowball. And I think there were slightly different factors for all the Brazilian teams, but I think all of them kind of ended up in that same boat.
Yeah. Yeah, it is an unfortunate circumstance, but again, hopeful for what we could potentially see for the next season. And we know that the talent is in the region as well. I mean, look at Loud, look at Aspas, like the people who've come from there. I think
the biggest thing is that these teams need to be taking risks and trying out new talent and trying to make a big change. And that's why I actually like what mibr management is doing, taking a risk to invest in some rookies. It's not gonna make their season. Their season is over. But I think it's the right investment for the future to think long term, which is what these should be doing.
I've got a very different approach for these teams.
Okay.
I think we got to get Aspas back. Okay? He's the one that got away. We got to get him back into Loud, and that team is going to be
That's it.
Again.
And then we solve the problem.
Get him back.
All right. Well, earlier on, Geek Heavy had an opportunity to catch up with Furia's NZR. Let's go ahead and take a look.
All right, joining right now, we have Furia's Nazwer, and I got to ask you, so you all beat 100 Thieves and Loud. So coming off of those two upsets, how much confidence has that instilled in your performance and overall performance in the team?
Yeah, I think those victories was really good and boost our confidence a lot. And I think that helped a lot to show a better Furia every game.
Now, what are your expectations for today and moving forward?
To do our best, because since that we don't have any chance to qualify for the playoffs, I think that we need to show that we keep playing well and do our best,
Absolutely. I think that's all anyone can ever ask for is for you to do your best. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And do their best, they shall. Now, Furia is on a bit of an upswing as of late, right? They managed to pull off some upsets, some big wins here. And, you know, they managed to also fell Loud, a team that has caused a problem for them for such a long time. Being able to get that win against a fellow Brazilian team that has always had their number had to feel good.
Yeah, and by always had the number, it means Furia had never beaten them before. Loud had that 25-0 record up against Brazilian squads, but I think Furia came in and played a pretty solid game all around.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that one. I like some of the ideas they were bringing out. I think the Sage comp on Bind actually fit really well into their play style. Had a lot of simple ideas for just executes into A, getting the spike down, showed some good fundamentals in the post plant. Like, I think it is real to say that it has been a bit of an upward trajectory for Furia now, picking up these 2 wins.
Yeah, for sure. And you said it. It's the fundamentals. They actually did them correctly in those 2 wins that they had against 100 Thieves. It was lacking against EG. That's why they got absolutely decimated. But the follow-up on Loud and to beat them when they were undefeated against Brazilian teams, that's so sick. And it's a lot to look forward to for this Furia roster. My only gripe with this is that they're doing it at a time when there's nothing on the line and there's no pressure for them to do it. And that's a problem because when you're in a league like this, you have to be able to be accustomed to the pressure.
Yeah, but that's not Paul and Rich's fault. They came in, came in and have been flying with this roster. And I think like giving them the credit, especially as rookies coming into this team, is very important.
Yeah, of course. But that's also for mibr, that those guys
You're so right. I was like, wait, that's the wrong thing.
Yeah. I was talking about Fury.
But still, I think what you're saying does, to an extent, apply to both teams.
Same
We've
thing.
seen the crumble with the pressure, right?
Yeah. Now, of course, in talking about some of the players who have had some different types of performances, you know, I think MW0 is a good person to kind of like highlight here, even though...
Crazy.
Yeah, but MW0 definitely has been a bit of the talking point for this team for some time now. But, I mean, look at the difference here between that game versus EG and game versus Loud. You can definitely tell that they were not finding success in that matchup versus EG at all.
When MW's on, he's one of the best duelists that we've... I think he is the second best duelist to come out of Brazil. I think the only other guy in that conversation would maybe be Digizin, who has not been able to hit the same levels of success as MW in his career.
I think that's fair. And literally looking at this game that he ended up playing versus Loud, like he was all over the place, like super fast, flying in on that Neon. I think they coordinated very well around MW to actually set him up to take some big fights throughout.
Yeah, of course. And there's certainly a case to be made that for MW0, right, him needing to constantly be the linchpin for this team certainly has been a detriment at times. But when he pops off, he shows up.
There has always been an over-reliance on MW, but I think as of late, the team has done a better job, like you were talking about it, like honing in the fundamentals, having better performances from some of the other players. We've seen Khalil hitting his form again, on top of just an overall slight improvement for the squad.
Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, Khalil, he had a few big moments as well, as you had mentioned.
I mean, that first series win, I think you can prescribe a lot of that to Khalil.
Yeah, you could definitely give him the flowers for that one, Eric. All right.
Absolutely nuclear.
Well, let's go ahead and look on the other side of the stage, shall we? Because we got mibr now. This is a squad that is still looking to find that first win of the season.
And this is where I come in and say, wow, Paula and Rich, they inherit the tough record from stage 1, but these guys are looking pretty good. I really like the way they played, especially Paula. I think he was getting really aggressive on this jet and finding a lot of different moments where he was just clutching up in rounds for them.
I think they showed potential.
Sure.
I think that they had good moments, but I think Paula especially was falling for kind of the classic blunder of a new player, where he was getting his moments, he was getting his kills, and there were so many rounds where he overheated and was losing rounds for his team because of it. And I mean, you've probably been in that position. You're having a great game, you're feeling it, but your team isn't really keeping up in the same way. And I think it's tough to not fall into that trap.
And it's stuff that works in tier 2. That's the main thing, right? This is what we talk about when we talk about inexperience and like rookie players and stuff like that. In tier 2, he probably gets away with that all the time. He probably dominates. He probably gets 2, 3, 4, 5 even at times. But in a league like this, when everybody is the best of the best, you're going to get sat down. And those little changes in the round, when maybe if you just played passive in a post plant, when you already secured the 5v4, you might set yourself up to get a 3K and 4K later on.
For sure. I think it's important to get sat down, though, especially as a rookie player, right? Because, to me, that is the most teachable, solvable problem in the universe. Okay, you're a guy that goes and gets first blood every single round, but you're getting traded out because you overextend. Okay, you got a good head on his shoulders. You have a good coach and staff behind you that, sets you up to that. you can fix that.
Sure.
Seriously, yeah, you can.
I want to ask though, like for your experiences being like a duelist player and kind of going like from tier 2 to tier 1, how big is the difference from playing that role at those two levels?
So it's crazy because any type of mistake you make is a chance for the other team to actually run away with it, right? Like, for example, mistakes that Furia made against Loud. It's like 11-4. They're in the lead on Haven.
Yeah.
And then they give Pancata a 1v4 because of what? Because they overheated.
Yeah.
All 4 players overheated, right? So now, all of a sudden, Loud has a chance to bring it back and win out the game. So any type of mistake that you make at this level is so detrimental to your squad, and it's really important that you learn that skill ceiling, that skill gap from tier 2 to tier 1.
I think the other big thing is when you're losing a lot and you do make those mistakes, having the ability to reset and not let that snowball. And I think both these teams have had that problem with mistakes snowballing into desperation in the games.
Yeah, no, good call there. Now let's go ahead and hear what Paula has to say as he's standing by with Geek Heavy.
All right, joining me right now, we have MIBR's Paula. Now, I got to ask you, how do you think you've been fitting in with the entire MIBR roster?
É uma sensação muito gratificante ser chamado para um time Tier 1. Então eu sinto que todos os meus sacrifícios no Brasil foram recompensados.
Yeah, it's a very big opportunity to be part of a Tier 1 team, and I feel like all my efforts have been rewarded.
Now, regardless of you all not being able to make it to playoffs, what are you hoping to take away from this experience?
Eu espero com o resto do campeonato, mesmo não entrando nos playoffs, só uma experiência, porque aqui a liga, o nível dela é maior que no Brasil. Então, eu só espero melhorar como jogador e vir muito preparado para o próximo split.
Yeah, I'm just expecting to get more experience. The league here is stronger than in Brazil, so I just want to get more experienced and prepared for the next competitions.
Now, speaking of that experience, how has this experience compared playing on VCT to your experience playing in Challengers?
Há muitos jogadores experientes no VCB, jogadores de alto nível, porém aqui, pela maior competitividade talvez, a maior diferença é o nível de jogadores. Então, aqui é muito mais difícil comparado ao Brasil e é isso que me deixa mais animado ainda para competir.
Yeah, compared to challengers, the level here is way higher. We have lots of big players in Brazil, but everything's just more difficult here, so it's a great opportunity.
Well, honestly, best of luck today.
Thank you so much for that. Now, Stage 2 has been full of just big changes, meta shifts, new players, new rosters. Oh, it's crazy. All right, and here's the thing.
Happening?
It's not just rosters, it's not just craziness. All right, it's time to talk about team jerseys, baby, in this edition of Baby Baywatch. Look at that.
I feel like I get more jacked every single time.
You really do.
But in person, I get smaller.
That's
and smaller.
amazing.
But I'll take it, you know? I got the race car swag today, so let's see what I got.
Yeah. So the good thing is, we have our resident drip king here on the desk to go ahead and talk to us. That's what I call him in conversations.
He was an F1 driver.
And an
F1
F1
he was
driver.
Formula 1, but he's really looking baby Formula
Combination of them both. All right.
Baby Formula.
Let's see what our first one is. We got NRG, the old jersey, the new jersey.
I kind of like the black and the black and orange.
That is so
I
basic.
like the black and orange.
Old jersey is kind of cool.
But there's too much going on here, you know what I mean? It's too wild. And this is a little bit more subtle, a little bit more crazy. It's more clear.
Every
the sponsors are more clear.
Every esports team has that NRG jersey. This one, white jerseys, you hardly ever see white jerseys, actually. I think this is pretty sweet.
Okay.
I'm still giving it to the new one. Also, Song is a handsome lad.
Yeah,
Yo,
makes you look good.
Ethan.
No offense to Ethan.
Wow, this guy just said Ethan's hideous right on air. That's crazy.
All
right, next up, Evil Geniuses. I'm going to be up front and just say right out of the gate, old logo / new logo, way better, going back to the history. But I like the green. I like the green and blue.
I think they got less
the
paint on the old jersey than they got on the new one. So it's less messy.
I don't know if Jogamo maybe washed this a little bit too much, but it's a little bit too faint, huh? Like the light, it's a little too light, right? It's faded. This one, solid colors, looks amazing. Everything pops. The paint pops even more than this one.
Yeah, so that's not a jersey.
Is that even paint?
No, that's a lighting.
Ocean?
It's the lighting, and also that has some kind of film effect, like graining on it.
Let's see the next one.
I'm going Derek.
Let's see the next one. Let's see the next one. We have 45 seconds. Oh, I'm glad this one came up because that green loud jersey goes hard as hell.
Yeah, I'm going you. I'm going you. It's unique. It's loud. It's good. I like the little like.
Yep, love it. Let's see the next one.
Let's look at the necklace.
We're ready. Oh my God, what is that? Oh Lord, have mercy.
Okay, older knew that.
Cats.
Okay, cats. Just for me, because I'm a cat guy, I got a cat at home. I got to go with the cats.
The cats.
You're not a cow guy. But the blue cows are fire too. Honestly, they're both great.
Cows kind of go hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Sideshow could own anything. Mean to Josh when he said he's the drip king. It's Wilkinson.
It's actually Josh.
Did you see that silly goose show?
We did. Yeah, he really is a silly goose. All right, everyone. Well, it's time to get serious, and it's time to get this Sunday started. It's MIBR versus Furia, NRG versus C9. VCT Americas starts right now.
Bom trabalho da equipe do mibr, mas sobra somente ele. Mazin fez metadinha, vai ser direto, não parou. Tenta o confronto, vem ele! Ali, vai tentando ali pra cima do Aspa. Mais, Babi. Cadê?
Essa transição da Fúria para o MBR foi bem interessante para mim. Na Fúria eu joguei apenas 2 jogos, mas eu estava numa função que não era do meu estilo, do meu agrado. E agora entrando para o MBR, vou fazer uma outra função, flex, que é uma que eu gosto mais e me sinto mais confortável. Então é bom demais.
Liazzi, olha o Aspas. Acho que a gente deu uma zicadinha, deu mesmo. Vem o Liazzi, bom trabalho, 3 kills. Olha o Liazzi, cara. Olha o Liazzi trabalhando, 4 kills.
A MBR, sim, é um time que eu quero enfrentar bastante, porque eu acho que a gente tem que acertar umas contas, apesar do time ser brasileiro, só brincando. E realmente tem um membro familiar, que era o Liazzi, que estava no nosso time, e vai ser um jogo bom contra ele, e ele vai vir forte.
Riot Games Arena, bora pro último clássico brasileiro. E de um lado, recebam o mibr!
Brasil original, nós leva a vida dura, mas sempre no alto astral. Mas admito, sou brasileiro, trabalhador que faz a luta, não desiste, merecedor dessas conquistas. Nascidos para o mundo, trago o Brasil no meu peito, em busca das vitórias. Responsa é com nós mesmos. Quando me perdi, encontrei comigo mesmo e tirei forças, eu não sei da onde. Amigos eu ganhei, perdi, são coisas da vida. O que me dói é a minha família longe. Torcedores falam, outros me motivam. Vou persistir nessa longa estrada da vida. Vencer é obrigação, derrota é uma lição. Desistir pra nós não é mais opção. Hoje mesmo busco o que é nosso sonho.
E do outro lado, faz barulho pra Fúria!
mibr Furia take the stage as we see who's going to manage to come out on top in this clash with the Brazilian teams here. You got Furia looking to pick up a win. mibr looking to pick up their first win of the stage here.
Yeah, and the stakes don't seem high at all because, you know, obviously there's no playoff implications. There's nothing for the season anymore for both these sides, right? But what is on the line is your job, your individual job. and you want to look good. You want to be the team that wins this match.
That's not wrong.
Because seriously, who knows if you're going to be on any of these rosters? Maybe there's going to be a huge rebuild. We don't know yet. They don't know yet.
Got to make yourself valuable.
There's a lot of time until the first event of next year. It is worth pointing out for mibr that they actually did start off the year pretty hot during kickoff. They got a few wins. Their first win of the year was against Furia. Haven't been able to win any in the regular season after that point. But hey, maybe today's the day.
Yeah, it definitely could be. And I mean, it's like you're saying, a long road till next year, like 5 months until January. Who knows when the season is going to start?
That's usually when the year starts.
Yeah, it's going to be a while though. And there's a lot of time for these rosters to make changes and adjust. So really showing what you're worth is big.
And let's not forget too that this mibr team, not necessarily the same squad that, you know, Furia took on at kickoff, right?
Definitely not.
Definitely not the same squad. And I mean that literally, but when I say like functionally as a team, like they definitely have a different way of approaching the game now that the other rosters certainly, I mean, that's part of the reason why they're not here, you know, like the changes that they needed to make.
I'm even back on that old team, like Artisan was playing duelists in a lot of their comps when they were running the double duelist comps. And even on the double duelist comps now, mibr, it's not the same thing at all. So they've gone through a lot of big changes.
Changed a lot for since that original mibr, because I feel like the core of what this team is still pretty similar. They play simple stuff, they play like slow attack mid rounds. I guess the roles make more sense, which is a big upgrade, I feel like.
That is a big upgrade. And they're also investing into their future as well, which I think is something that you gotta, you know, really acknowledge.
I mean, you basically have 2 free officials to test out some rookies, see what happens.
Exactly. Here comes the agent selectos, the options starting to come in here, and we'll see if we get anything fun, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. And I think to Babyface's point, you're 100% right on that, right? These guys, they're going to be fighting for, you know, their spot. They're fighting to prove that they do, in fact, belong on that stage, and this is where they need here is put up or shut up, plain and simple.
Yeah, exactly. And in a game that's very recency biased as well, right? Like I feel it's extremely recency biased. So you want your last showing on this stage to be one that people talk about, maybe people don't forget, especially the coaches that are scouting, especially other team, other players.
On a second. Warlock and Jet on Sunset.
The last person I saw do this was Demon 1.
Yeah, that is a weird one. Normally you're picking in the Rays or...
Oh, no, you're right.
I think it might be the actual composition that Gen G run on this map, so maybe they're trying to copy that blueprint. But I feel like copying teams, sometimes you don't understand the full idea behind why they're doing certain things that they're doing.
I mean, when you play like this, in a lot of ways, you end up just playing this map like Ascent. Like, you're going to be looking for a lot of the mid-control stuff. You're prioing breaking trips with the Sova shock darts, things like that. It's an interesting idea.
Well, let's see how this all plays out. We're going to send it over to your casters for this one. You got 2 VALORANT enjoyers on the call. It's Uber and Wyatt.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy, from one VALORANT enjoyer to another. Great to be back here for a game that, again, without playoff implications, is still interesting because both of these teams are attacking the issue of a weaker Brazilian region from completely different directions. For, I mean, this mibr side, it's about bringing that new blood in, training up these rookies, getting them going. But for Furia, it's really been about bringing back faces from the past, from that initial Furia roster.
Yeah, this is the core of all the way back to their 2021 run where Furia made it to champs. And it was led by Nazwar, Shandi, Khalil, and kind of funny enough with that team as well was Mazin, who's on the opposite side with mibr. So, you know, they've gone back to that chemistry that they've had historically to have a better run in Stage 2. And it has worked out for them. Their fundamentals noticeably better than Stage 1. So I'm going to continue to look for that elevation in play from them and mibr as well.
And they're playing an Ascent comp on Sunset, which is a bit of fun. Not expecting to see this, and I think that the question of getting through that Cypher util will be one we look at later on, but straight away mibr have taken control of mid here, and they've left Pala stationed at top mid to challenge this, but only 50 HP on the raise.
Pacey so far from mibr, usually a slower team.
Oh, Furia waiting for them to walk straight in his crosshairs. Wazira dealing with Artisan comfortably now, trying to interrupt the plant, but it does go down, and now inside Market. mibr are holed up here. Paranoid, they're coming from the backside. It's a problem. Khalil makes short work of Masin. And Shandi ends it. Furia here with a pretty comfortable defending pistol.
Yeah, nicely done there. Opening with that first blood from the man who exited that short stint in retirement. Only spent a couple months in Tahiti and has come back all ready to play. He just couldn't resist the allure of competition, Shandi. has been with this Furia team in the past, played with so many of these players over and over at various different times. And, you know, so far hasn't looked at his peak form. We've seen him be one of the stronger mechanical players from the Brazilian region. You know, he's done his job. He's been competent. He's been more of a role player for the team so far. And as the weeks go by, I'm looking for him to get back to that level that I've seen from him in the past.
So here we go, of course, Furia have MW0 picking up himself an outlaw. Again, to the extremity with that weapon, though. Looking towards B lobby, shut down any contact through there. Shandy, of course, sees the 0 point light up rich. And it's a slow start here for mibr over at A-Long.
Yeah, that 0 point defensively is really effective at getting that early A main info.
Oh, the paranoia shut them down entirely. mibr wanted to go aggressive there, but now they've got to play from behind the one-way again.
Small, a meager investment from mibr. It's Rich, the newcomer, with a Sheriff. We've seen him with some pretty solid mechanics so far. I have been impressed. He was the one against Loud where they got their first map win, mibr and Lotus. He was the standout. He really stepped up for the squad.
Havoc looking to take contact again, backs away from Parler, and he's gone straight into a tripwire. Simple stuff here for Havoc, baiting the rookie in. The RC knows better than to challenge this straight up here, but Havoc has no reason to be elsewhere. He took hardly any damage from that engagement. Wazera gets involved now. The Outlaw strikes through, and it'll just be Rich here. Brought down instantly.
Making that look oh so clean from the defensive side. With this unique look on the map. Would not be unique in any way. If we were playing Ascent, I'd be falling asleep seeing them pick this comp mid. But it's interesting to see on Sunset. I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe we would get the Neon since they've been so partial to that with MW, who's been looking really solid on that agent, with teams like NRG making use of it here on Sunset. But they've opted for this unique look, and I appreciate that about Furia. The work they've done in the offseason, bringing, you know, their own flavor to the game.
The Cypher trip's definitely something to look out for, but Furia have ways of breaking them. W0 a bit of a spray in the woods mid. He's taken so much of this space. mibr corralled now onto the B side. They've got to come out from lobby.
Are they going to try to accelerate? It doesn't seem to be the case. They don't have the information on that Cypher just yet, so
got to re-clear mid for this, surely.
And fearful as well that they could be running into those trips if they go for a hard B hit, so they're going to just slow things down, re-clear, as you said.
Both teams actually re-clearing mid simultaneously. That drone went into tiles and saw nothing. Still, MW0 sees a bit of action. Takes a hit and backs away from it. Market door is broken. And mibr don't really look committed one way or the other.
And again, this is the slow pace that this team typically do like to play at. Standard fault line angle here from Liazi working into tiles. It's effective for taking elbow, which is where the rest of the team are working towards. But it looks like, yeah, just a contact peek. Havoc gets the information, going to fall back, play off the tripwires. If mibr decide to accelerate towards A, but it looks like Paula's just going to try to make a little bit of noise, keep the attention, and it's done exactly that. Look at the Furia rotations at the top of the map.
They will potentially have a crossfire here at top mid. Shanti almost caught out there. Liazi, a golden opportunity goes begging. Khalil comes in for the other side. Paula can't do anything but really wait for his eventual captors to arrive. At least a plan here for mibr. They're going to get one player into Boba. Mazin backing into lobby. Furia have their numbers advantage. They've got everyone up. Still good weapons to work with. This bonus so far going smoothly.
Martin is going to get that one. Newly swapped over to the Sentinel, but MW on the flank.
Just flood in. Khalil's so low. Notwa, where is he? Doesn't need to be involved. In fact, Khalil gets it done with 5 HP. And Furia have to feel good. They take both the Vandals out of the bonus. And mibr's buy up gets scattered to the 4 wins.
That was a respectable effort from Artzin. The newly adorned Cypher for the team, picking up a very important role on this map, but just unfortunately for mibr, they actually worked the map nicely. They drew those rotates, but they just got caught out one by one, and frankly, Liazi, he's gotta get that kill, Mitch. So
Chandi was asking to get slapped there.
Yeah, a bit tough to watch.
All right, not the start that mibr were looking for in a map they often, you know, in the past, remember they used to try and sell fakes with that solo initiator. Very different comp now that they're running with. Good macro, but it's the execution that's been lacking.
MW going to pick that outlaw up. Many light armors on the side of mibr. One shot potential.
Oh, Wyatt. Oh, it's so ugly. Muzzy with the TP. It might be trying to make something happen here with a bit of a force buy. Well, you know what they say, here for a good time, not a long time.
MW with the scoped weapons has actually gotten a lot better since the 2023 offseason into 2024. You know, not that that shot on the breach was particularly remarkable, but it is worth noting because he used to really just be a rifle duelist. But his usage of the operator, you know, outlaw, obviously, essentially the same thing, has really improved this year.
Here on this map, especially, we often see those defensive, like, scope weapons taken to the extremities to deal with things like that, like these straight-up contact peaks by attackers.
And what's cool, what I'm liking already from Furia, is that some of these rounds, scoped weapon in hand, that outlaw, that's something for mibr to deal with. And on a previous, when MW had a rifle, didn't really get to talk about it in the round, but they went for a really unique play down mid that is something no team would expect, as this Furia comp is one that I've never seen before, where MW dashed all the way down mid into an Omen smoke, and then they had a recon and a pop flash sent by their KO and Sova over the top. And it caught a couple players. He just wasn't able to get the kill when they were lit up. But that was a really unique, cool play. So already mibr getting different looks thrown at them, and we're just 4 rounds in.
And it forced mibr to expend some utility on actually getting back into the middle part of the map. I think they wanted to try and, you know, they even tried towards A. Like, it bled the clock so much because mibr had to be so meticulous about clearing not to get caught by that scope weapon or, like, you know, MW0 watching down mid. Both teams, in fact, ended up re-clearing at the time, but mibr forced to play a very slow round and eventually just got worked down.
MW is actually going to go for the operator purchase out of the timeout, so even more deadly for mibr, who have full armors across the board. You know, expecting probably an outlaw, right? No, big investment.
Post up. See on the minimap, he's posting up on this corner. So actually inching over to, just to, I guess, punish down on this one-way smoke. This is the, you know, the A version of the B extremity play. Dangerous though, he doesn't have a satchel to get him out of the fault line, like a Raze would. Caught out, and the operator clatters to the ground.
Tried to go for the updraft dash. Perhaps if he just dashed straight away, he would have gone. Maybe. That was a little bit awkward. That shot from Bala might have been crazy. That was a little mid-air headshot from him, the rookie, trying to get his experience on stage.
We see Raze just jump out of that situation, right? Time and time again. It's something Oxy does. Like, more than happy to bait that move out and then just satchel away to safety.
Oh, Havoc to 1 HP. Has been lovely at anchoring towards market so far in this game, but right now just needs to stay alive.
mibr done what they needed to so far. Looking to get the plant down. Havoc in an awkward position, only playing with that 1 HP.
Yeah, now we're in that make-believe Pearl scenario where the spike is down front B. Courtesy of Wingman, smoke down. Time to hold down Mouse 1 and pray.
Huge flank coming in here for Artisine as well. Havoc got brought down eventually, clinging to life as he was. Parla really unperturbed by the shock darts being thrown at him here. Nos were not able to get them behind the barrier. Mosh pit here to stall out further, and Artisine finally! The best laid plans don't always pay off, but that one, wide flank into a 3K. Beautiful stuff from mibr.
Perfectly timed. Just Martin, another beneficiary of the duelist to sentinel pipeline that we have seen in... Oh my god, yeah, that was some nasty work from Paula. We've seen so many great duelists just switch over to the sentinel role and find so much success. Always going to think of Meteor, of Gen G, you know, falling into that category. mibr get there first. And showing why the Gecko is essentially a must-pick on this map. Whenever I see a team not playing the Gecko, a little bit worried because getting that easy plant on B, playing from main, is such an easy way to stack up rounds.
Again, Havoc, though, playing for a bit of that early information. Cyber Cage is thrown down by both. Okay, shoulder pick this time. He doesn't actually take 99 points of health in order to get that information.
Yeah, and Havoc has been playing really active, actually, in these rounds with not a lot of setup. A couple rounds now, just pressuring towards B main solo.
Butler here hit with that paranoia. A little awkward, he's forced to get back off that angle. So nothing doing over at A for mibr so far. Thrash went into market by the looks of things. No defenders were set up there at the time.
Noswell right now, no recon, no drone, but should be cycling the recon pretty soon. Perhaps going to send that into B main. It's quite passive positions for Fury right now. MW can see him with the op so far back. And with those passive positions, It's just offering MIBR mid for the taking, mid for free.
There's a potential double face here into the cross to market for mibr. They need to be wary of this. No, they're going to be stacked up high-low. They're expecting the top mid take from mibr.
An issue here is, though, they know Havoc is on this site, but they have not dealt with these tripwires. They do go down now, though.
Flashed out. Parla held his ground there. Shandy not able to complete the kill. Mazin sitting tight inside market. Obviously now in that post plant.
Deep flash. Mazin in trouble right now.
No way he's getting out of that one. That late pressure from mid here. Arzine might be able to capitalize, but he's going to have to be quick about it.
This reflank timing is everything for Arzine again.
Okay. Spike tapped. Rich here knows he's going to be under pressure, but Arzine on the flank. He's found two. That's it. Once again, late flank paying off for the Cypher. Khalil here's got no idea where to look. Again gives it a tap fault line. It's going to be another 3K for Arzine.
Just spray downs from the back, perfect timing, patience at the end was nice. These flanks have been so well executed, and Furia have not been able to find, you know, that moment to just turn around, shut him down. Surely at this point, they've got to be expecting this from him.
I mean, they had a high-low setup to receive a push. They thought Arzine would go top mid or wide flank through their own spawn. Instead, he went market from mid this time, and is having to have the same impact as the prior round.
And that's going to result in the timeout. I mean, that is the obvious first thing to address here with these B hits that mibr have been finding success with. And actually, this was the site too in their last Sunset game against Loud. They put up a respectable 9 rounds against Loud, and it was their B hits that got them the majority of that on their attack side. That's where they really thrived. And they're doing so right now, despite Havoc having some pretty solid anchoring so far. Those tripwires staying up a little bit longer than usual. You know, you expect that Raze nade to come in, try to break the one close that's, you know, always on main there. So I'm impressed right now with mibr. This play on B, rock solid.
And to be fair, for Furia, the B side of the map is the only area they're really being super proactive in getting that information early. It's been Havoc right shoulder peeking or jump peeking that B lobby spot. But the rest of the map often being given up by Furia. And that's why they're worried about constant flanks from Arzine.
I'm looking to see as well at some point here, maybe Furia will go for some kind of aggro pop flash play into B main. We'll have to see. Paula here, though, Showstopper active. Shandy notably has the null command, so, you know, if in range, here's that Showstopper Q, we'll pop that to counter it. We'll have to see.
Paula just raw swings that. Will force Havoc off the angle. He actually retreats not to the back of B, but to market. Because mid is not held from top mid, Furia are concerned about presence there.
And there's that satchel thrown from Paula just to break a tripwire. It wasn't there that time, but that is the most common spot. It connects from that box to the opposite wall on the right if you're facing it from attackers. Unbreakable without utility.
Like this confidence from Paula. Knows he's safe to move into this space now. Mid definitely smoked up as Furia look to set up. Maybe going to interrupt with the pop flash here through.
They're going out.
Arzine ready for it though. Still caught. Shandy able to bring him down. Now the attention's over at A. Furia give that side up essentially. Now it's a race. With a one-way thrown over towards Link here. 0 Point will spot them out. This slows him mibr down for a moment here, but 3 in spawn for Furia.
Yeah, Khalil was able to TP over fast, so they're all gathered up. This null command timing is great.
They just take the fight straight up. There's no util for mibr to play from. And they're getting spotted out here. Oh, Havoc gets the drop on Mazin. Not what you want to see. Rich low. 9 HP, but able to get the spike down, but a very clean defensive round so far from Furia, with the exception of those couple guns they gave away.
Yeah, pretty valiant effort there from Rich at the end, but that was great from Furia. That rotation speed was excellent. Khalil making use of that Omen teleport ult, which often is hard to do so, but it allowed them to stack up 3 in spawn, take that face together with towards the players on site. Mid push out here, excellently timed. Flanker down, gets the ult for Havoc to pop, gets all of the info.
But again, that null command timing is important, and you can't expect that every round because mibr can't isolate them at the back of the site there in spawn. They can't throw a smoke to that spot. They have to take these raw engagements, and Furia have the numbers advantage. They're stacked for it.
And with the null command, you know, Paula's Showstopper in that situation could have been the catalyst for getting a pick back, evening that up 4v4. You know, denying Furia from pushing forward even because they don't want to get hit by the rocket, but not even an option with the null command, so great round, and now mibr's economy on the line.
Parla goes for it. Takes a little bit of damage, but it's worth it. Havoc was waiting in the corner there. Wazira forced off the line, back into Boba now. Here's that fast hit for mibr, and they're sitting on a thrash here after the fact.
Operator in the hands of MW, and now the Thrash. A bit of further delay, Aftershock as well. And connects, but Artson caught a little too greedy.
Nosma though does go down to the Aftershock, I think, and there is Rich just plunging into market. Sheer weight of ultimates for mibr, to be fair. Showstopper and Thrash, big difference makers.
An excellent, proactive, confident decision there from mibr to swarm into market off the Thrash. Artson took that first contact, was scared that that was going to be greed. That's what I called out. But the rest of the team were so fast to trade off of that. Mazin, perfect timing with this flank, just causing disarray. The flash comes in from the Gecko, that Dizzy as well, just at the very end. Nicely played. Again, it's this B play from mibr that is impressive.
And Furia are trying to mix it up. This time, straight down mid with the Guardian. We'll see a little bit of a weaker buy as MW0 bought an operator in the previous round and got nothing with it.
Martin is going deep. TP into spawn. He's in trouble.
But meanwhile, mibr are executing a fast hit over on a B. Mazin is stalling and getting himself a kill. Can't complain about that. 1 for 1, but the gun is dropped over.
Listen, he got his. He got them in the side for free. They will take that. Apollo's pushed up far here with low HP. Going to try to just make his escape with Rich. Get back. Again, it's planted for B main. They can play this safe. They can just spam down those diffusers.
Nosma has no util, but Khalil has plenty to work with. He's dispensing some of that now.
The only issue is with Mazin down. You know, they don't have a smoke cover. There could be fights for Furia. Perfect timing on that Rolling Thunder.
Oh, Khalil covered Wazira as he tried to back away after being stunned up by that fault line, or rather the Rolling Thunder. Other team wants to swing out on this. Nosma! It's Khalil for 4 in the round, and Furia sneak one back.
And the issue with Mazin going down there on display with that retake, despite the Rolling Thunder's timing, just because they weren't able to smoke off main. Fights taken with from Furia, excuse me, they had decent enough weaponry to take them. And so you're not able to get a safe spam line on the spike. There are going to be crosshairs on you right there. Khalil, I mean, lovely taps when the swings came in, when they were forced to swing to kill that diffuser, and they couldn't do it.
But he was unaffected by that Rolling Thunder, which is huge. I think mibr really thought it was easy pickings for them on that site. Khalil 10 and 4 right now. We're going to see some action over at A, a bit of a mix-up for mibr. Smoke to top mid by the attackers too.
Recon comes through, just dodged barely by Paula there. There's perhaps some false info from that for Furia, though there hasn't been a push-up just yet on A. Actually, a 0 point cycled after the recon, just in case they did hide from it. We're taking advantage of that and walking up, so further delay.
Khalil got about to get busy. Crosshair placement broken by Parla with the satchel across. Not affected by the paranoia here, though. A lot of that util being thrown down. Fault line did connect onto the Omen, but Shanti is here to reinforce. What a flash! Beautiful stuff!
Wow! I mean, Khalil has been on fire in this stage too. Rich trying to bring things back. 2 versus 2, though. 1 orb away from getting the Thrash activated here as well. Still has the wingman for a free plant.
And Havoc was up against that Unazing drip at B lobby. Decides to clear it here. So mibr know they're on a clock. The Thrash is going to be here to clear. MW0 keeping a respectful distance from this. We're setting up in spawn. No smokes here left for the attackers, but Rich still has a Dizzy to throw out. Oh my goodness, MW0 gets that? And he interrupts the plan. Artisan has it all to do now. Getting pressured by Havoc from a Lincoln. Fury, you know, they can slow it down a little bit here. They could have had a double face, but Artisan is good for it. Nicely done. Breaking it up at the 2 1v1s.
It's just outlandish from him on this map. I mean, straight up, it's won them, what, like 3 rounds now with those 3K flanks on B. 1 versus 2 clutch. Rich got a bit scrambled in that situation. The wingman plant out in the open, a little bit awkward, perhaps trying to bait in a peek where the Dizzy would capitalize. You know, could see the play he was attempting, but then swung too early. That, though, from Furia was nice. These flashes from Shonda getting big value.
He played that corner so well.
What a recovery. Looking fantastic on this Sentinel role that he's swapped to here with the additions of the rookies.
This time less proactive from Furia on the A side, allowing Pala to get within striking distance of Elbow.
And we're going to have that paranoia for MW0. Can he capitalize?
Time it up with the smoke dissipating. Pala's there, paranoia after it. Oh, my team, you're not going anywhere. Eliazzi hoping to pick up the pieces. Gets away with just 5 HP.
Pretty risky from MW to take another, but he was feeling himself in that scenario, was confident in taking another duel. At the very least, brings Liazi down to 5. And now Artzin contacting up, trying to expose an open area of the map to even the odds, bring it back to a 3 versus 3.
Rich gets on this line, crucially. Plenty of sound being made, though. Underzine is hearing a rotation towards A here. There are trips inside market, though, for Furia. So plenty of information there for them. And they've left the Cypher on that weak side.
And they've got to know that this is absolutely possible. I mean, they certainly
30
do.
seconds left.
And they can just play for this retake, right? I mean, they have the man advantage. They have great utility here. Shandy has a 0 point. There's a recon for Noswar. Flash as well for Shandy. I mean, just so much to get back in.
Okay, that was an info TP from Khalil over towards Link. Don't think he saw anything. Cat's out of the bag now, at least. Furia have some time to converge here over on the A side. From every angle, they can actually post up with these 4 players.
Link cleared by that 0 point from Shandy.
Right,
Shandy being taken.
Oh, Hartson again! They keep giving it to him every time. All right, neural theft from Artazine, pretty powerful there. Shandy able to catch out Liazi though with the molly. It's up to Shandy in 1v2. And Artazine's on the wrap. Artazine is all over it. Another 3K from him. He's been allowed to get away with literal, actual murder.
For MIBR, they want to figure out what they're going to be doing in the future. Of course, this season is over. It's about training these rookies, bringing them in. What are the pieces that we have to move forward with this squad? And I'm going to go ahead and say that keeping Hearts in on Sentinel, this role swap seems pretty good, Mitch. I feel like this is something they may want to keep.
It's been absolutely astounding. Constantly having an outsized impact in his position, round after round. For at least 4 or 5 rounds out of these last 11. He's been the guy.
Fast satchel up mid from Paolo with the smoke down up top. Is he going to try to get into this that early?
Audacious. He's actually made it into top mid there as well. Shandy's heard this and has gone off the angle. Noswar though couldn't get away, and it's Artazine again. This guy is relentless. No presence remaining for Furia over on this B side. And they fully stacked, armed to the teeth and hungry MIBR can settle into this post plot.
I mean, the perfectly timed flanks, the clutches, the entries. Artsin just does it all.
Zero now trying to get into market. Meticulously, Furia do clear this space. Now to wrap on Pala, instantly taken down by a blade. But there's the issue of this B lobby presence now. Zero might just plunge in here. Mazin first, he's caught, holding the angle like a sentinel.
Player standing.
And it's going to be all down to Khalil now. Been in this position before.
What's another death?
Tap. Liazi not convinced. Artazine gives it a peek, and there it is. Yet another 3K from this guy. He is going to walk out of this half like an executioner.
Someone bring up the scoreboard. I need to see what this guy is at really quick.
18-7.
Casual 18-7 as the Cypher on offense. Taking it nice and chill there. Staying a little hydrated too. To clean spray downs. You know, Havoc really getting exploited on this B site. It was a little bit odd that they were having him play solo, so aggro in main, and falling back from playing that close up. Totally caught by the attacking side.
All right, competitive first half here, and MIBR definitely have a shining star leading the way for them. Stick around, of course, we'll be right back with more of Sunset after this. highly competitive first half of Sunset here. Furia get off to a hot start, but despite an even scoreline, Furia only win one gun round in the first half.
Yeah, that is mental, and it's courtesy of fantastic post-plant play from the side of mibr, getting in on that B site, having the perfect flank timings, from Artzin, retreating into B main, winning those simple rounds that we see on B when it just comes down to the spam as well. Really excellent job from them stepping up here on their map pick. They were able to pick Sunset, which has never been played by Furia, because Furia banned out Lotus, which is where mibr beat Loud. They wanted to get rid of a good map from them. And, certainly mibr weren't expecting to go up against this comp. I don't think anyone would. It's a very unique one from Furia, just ripping the Ascent comp, bringing it into Sunset. We'll see what they have now on attack. They had a few nice little early round set pieces on defense, but they didn't end up getting a lot of value. We'll see if that'll switch up here on the side swap.
Yes, some of the more perceptive of you Twitch chatters have noticed that Noswa is having a bit of a quiet game so far. We're still looking to see how the Sova really fits into this comp. I think now on the attacking side, right, when it comes to dealing with a lot of that Cypher util and allowing that Jet to push on in, we might start to see some value generated.
Really on smoke top mid as Furia look to pressure. But will there be a play from mibr to pop out of this? It looks like it.
Ooh, you're in for the correction. And W0 brought down, and that's a beautiful fault line. Oh, you can't ask for much more than that. Noswa having just a real goose egg to sit on for that first half. We'll have a crack at this. Rich brings him down for a 4K on the pistol, and it might be a pick up where they left off.
Was hoping he'd get us first on the board there. What a way to start this for mibr. Huge trap play in middle. I mean, you could just see the setup. It was obvious what was going to happen there. Rich ready in the smoke, was holding that. Timing with the Dizzy, sends that out. In tandem, fault line comes through. Beautiful timing, swings through market. Excellent from mibr. The coordination there looking really, really rock solid. And for a team that has only been able to practice with each other for a couple of weeks. I mean, they started week 1, they were playing with Paint and Shazam.
Yeah, the third match, of course, with their entire lineup. Fun fact as well, mibr handed Furia a fat L in Kickoff. That was actually when they were able to find a couple wins. Since then, of course, it's been a rough run through VCT Americas.
And many changes for them, player changes, coaching changes, Fraud taking the reins there. Furia on nearly a pure eco. MW is going to bring the Sheriff into this round.
All right, trying to mow them down, but Noswa and MW clap them, and it's going to be Liazzi here set up on the A side. Eventually a rotate coming through from Parla, who does have an Outlaw in hand here.
This is the guy with a Ghost as well, left alone.
He's bought some time. It's actually been slow going for Furia. Out of elbow! Okay, just the Ghost, you say. Fair enough.
Player standing.
Able to find 2 was Liazzi now.
Flashbang.
Okay, this is audacious. Shandy wants to create some space to make this plant happen, but Parlo disrespects it. Pushes down, but makes noise. Gets Shandy off the plant. And Artzin, man of the hour, stops the plant.
A good swing from him to clean that up. Pretty nerve-wracking when that crossfire that should have gotten a lot of value against the Classic somehow just goes 1 for 2. That is really tough. And Liazzi, just the solo Ghost backside. Beautiful 2 taps to recover that round. Was expecting him to just go down maybe 1 for 1, possibly not even getting any. So really well done from him, the ex-Furia member that has his second life in Americas this season.
3 light armors on Furia right now. Parlo playing the extremity here with that Outlaw. It starts to peel off of the angle. He can punish that. And W0 does not have full armor.
Nas were there as well, 2 of the light armor players.
No chance that they get that Outlaw value. Furia just take their foot off the gas on the B side for now. It's a through spawn rotation to start to put some pressure on A. At least probe a little bit, Madzine.
Just playing with some info trips on mibr. You can see that one on market. Back towards elbow as well when the players fall off from main, when Mazin falls off from main.
Parla's still speculating with some of those shots that there has been a Furia player left behind in B lobby.
MIBR just hoping that if the hit comes in on B, Paula can take that first contact, will be enough of a distraction that Artzin's position in the corner will be the one to clean up, get a few kills.
Look at MIBR just conceding foot after foot of this map. Mazin, the timing.
30 seconds
He's seen him,
left.
okay. Question is, anyone else with Havoc? No. Brings the Cypher down. Doesn't feel yet confident going to recover that weapon.
Spike
Not the safest of angles as Mozilla is covering it. Oh, Mazin wins that out as well. Unreal. The lowest rated player in Americas after stage 1. Really starting to come alive. And now he gets himself that Vandal. Still needs to the post plant though to deal with. Shani wants to pop flash himself in, but Liazzi had the angle with the Outlaw. And now the attackers are down to 2. Thrash here with some reconnaissance. Nonsama holds his nerve, and the angle eventually, though, is chomped. Khalil hopes to cover him here as MIB want to wrap around and pressure the detained player. Khalil for 2. Now Rich trying to get that defuse on, but eventually Noswa gets him. Furia finding a chance to breathe here.
About time the Noswa comes to life. And on a very crucial round, just nearly getting bonused, which would have been the game falling completely out of their hands. Considerable lead for MIBR at that point in terms of the economy, the recovered rifles. Really nicely done, and credit to Khalil there as well, as things for Furia for the majority of that round getting really disconnected. MW taking that solo peek towards spawn, trying to just capitalize off that kill. You know, didn't call for a pop flash, for instance, from Shandi, just tried to get a pure trade on Mazin and falls because of it. And then Shandi just throwing a flash for himself. It was haphazard, it almost fell apart, but recovered from Noswar, that calm IGL presence.
Door brought down as once again Furia take that mid control. W0 quite proactive here. Oh my goodness, dashing over towards Bobin. Mazin has heard this, but does he think the Jet is the timing? No. Artizine still able to bring MW down though. Straight into market, Furia went. While the heads were turned for MIBR, they get in and onto the site.
And now how do they play this? It looks like Shanti wants to go forward. But no, they are just going to retreat. Play from B main, play for the spam. What can Havoc do?
Got with you, chill out was Rich, but Liazzi was there for the trade. Now Furia don't have any elements outside of that B lobby. They might sneak Khalil around for a late reflank.
If a smoke goes up towards main, I'm looking at that recon from Noswar. Can it get value? Ping some players from behind that cover.
Flash here. Fault line also thrown up. Aftershock also been deployed here by the defenders. Shandi knows that someone's coming at him through the smoke. He's able to get him, and Khalil, that late reflank is good. Can he stop the defuse? Mazin is on it. He's sticking it. And Khalil is too late. MIBR get the defuse in the final moments.
That is a tragedy.
Oh,
for
man.
Khalil there. That late reflank, it was a risk and it almost paid off. Trying to replicate the magic of Artzin from the first half. That elusive presence from the Cypher that was such a thorn in Furia's side, but they can't quite match him.
I like the ideas, though, from Furia here. They really didn't just want to sit in B main. They were always trying to push someone to market, push someone on a late reflank.
It's a cool execute that they tried. It's reminiscent of something that Fnatic actually used to do on Haven, where you would, send it up through mid B and split over onto the C site. Teams doing that on B, but now it's fast from Furia again. Straight into elbow, punishing Pala.
Big dizzy value, though, there. Rich knows that there's a lot of Furia players descending upon them right now. Spike is left way back here over on the corner. TP came in, though, from Khalil. Furia really trying to overload this site, but Rich holds his own. Through elbow, there'll be 3, but Wazira is positioned further forward. Liazzi might look to play off a flash here. Oh, but Wazira gets a drop on him. Now has a tailwind. Doesn't leave himself exposed to Rich for too long. He got hit by that spike cam dart. Still, that spike is sat back at A-Long. They don't need it. Okay. Objectives, overrated. Kills, very good. More of those.
The speed from Furia was totally out of nowhere. They had not done anything like that yet. Just bursting up into elbow, and you could see Pala just not prepared, was on the angle, but just not ready to get swung by multiple players. I think that was a triple face.
Here.
And though Khalil didn't win that previous round, cleaning up all of the kills, not allowing one saved rifle from MIBR has actually gotten them back really in the game now as they convert the second. The economy totally broken for the Made in Brazil side. 5 classics here.
Cover going out.
Zin here is about to get extreme. Okay, he must know this Tile's presence after that camera. And he gets right off the angle. Not the kind of round you can really challenge that at all. One way will deter NW0 though. Furia pull out of mid.
Going to fall all the way back and try and fade out some swings if they can. Don't want to get overactive against this eco. They can convert it clean, begin to build the economy. Really strong for them in the latter half of this game, trying to make, you know, some presence back into this. You know, you had mentioned it at the beginning of the half, but in that first half, only winning one gun round against mibr, despite it being a tied game, has really made it feel like they've never been in control.
Furia probed there, found that elbow kill and went straight back to B. But mibr had enough time to respond and actually are stacked here for it. MW0 always first out. Grenade will end up behind him, but he didn't know where to look. Artisan with 2 with the classic. Okay, Mazin had to try and salvage. Not too bad. Good economic damage at least done there for mibr. Ooh, could have been ugly. Furia convert.
Good rotate in, good stack there from mibr. Significant damage done. Keeps Furia's economy there very honest, actually, as we head into this next, which is an incredibly pivotal round, Mitch. There are many, many big ultimates active right now. Nosler with the Hunter's Fury, Shandi with the Null command. So with that in play, I'm expecting to see mibr have their Cypher set up on one side of the map, playing Artsun elsewhere so he doesn't get hit by that, so the trips aren't offline. And you can see just that. Trip over towards A, one towards B.
Fast hit behind the Null command here. Wyatt, this might be a round we remember when we think back on this game. Was there only good for one, though? The answer here with all that util, Hunter's Fury came out there, didn't find any purchase, and essentially mibr have gotten back off that A site. They've allowed Furia to come in. The rotates, though, not fully committed.
Look at Paula right now. He pushed all the way through elbow. Does he catch this timing, or does Nosler catch him?
Oh, he wins it out, and then Satchel to break it up. Showstopper is good, and it ducks Shandi. Now Bomb Buddy.
No charges.
Neural Theft at least able to be used here, though, by the defenders. They've got all the info at their fingertips now. They know Khalil's embedded here on the A site, still yet to plant a player in elbow who can't see too much right now. Havoc's not in a great spot to have impact. Partner is going hunting. Everything stops dead for just a second. Khalil heads over in the small direction. He doesn't feel confident about planting at all. There's too many vultures circling this site.
What is that from Havoc?
Unbelievable! Collateral headshot now, still some more work to do. Havoc has another crack at it, make it 3. Neural Theft this time from the attackers, and it's all up to Liazzi. Tries to swing it, but Khalil, unstoppable. What a round from Havoc, that is absurd.
Outrageous recovery. The rookie from Brazil at the beginning of this season now going up against the even fresher rookies that mibr have brought in. Havoc had such a slow start at the beginning of this year.
You could see his crosshair wobble in that first game against NRG in stage 1, but this is... Oh, he's cool, calm, collected, locked in.
Fantastic jiggle peaks from him. 2 versus 4. It was so patient from those Furia players. And mibr, maybe kicking themselves for not getting more proactive in one of those moments when they had sent out the paranoia, perhaps. You know, of course, that smoke was down from Shandy, made it a little bit awkward. So can't be, you know, mad at that slow play, just waiting out for the tap, waiting. Havoc taking matters into his own hands has really come to life in stage 2, which is really nice to see because, again, he was succumbing to the nerves early on in Kickoff, and even in stage 1, it was a very slow progression. There were definitely people that were calling for his head after stage 1, thinking that he was the guy who needed to be replaced, but they stuck with him. They gave him a shot, and it paid off, you know? I mean, listen, perhaps too little, too late, given, you know, the state of their season, their inability to make playoffs. But when you're looking to the future, he was really one of the only players in Tier 2 Brazil that was a prospect. In that offseason, at some point, if you were nerding out on the spreadsheets, you could see he was trialing with everybody. Every team from Brazil wanted him. And there's a reason, and we're finally starting to see why. You know, he definitely has made his place in Americas.
Might be too late for this season, but not too late in general, as both these rosters are looking to the future. The future for mibr, at least in this game, is bleak. They called a timeout. They bring a Bucky into this round from Azine. And that last round was very pivotal in terms of momentum. mibr get broken. 0 point there, just spots the Gecko out towards the A side. Now, one way still needs to be respected by the attackers.
Side angle held by Paula here. Alone.
Okay, but he takes contact. The Aldrone comes in way too late. And W0 already got smashed. One gun taken away from Furia.
And now Artson gathered up with him. Full kit of utility still available. Or Liazi, rather. Sorry, that breach over on A.
Parla again has fallen back to a tight angle that he's just holding with that Sheriff.
Caution here.
From the defender side, it's another one-way. Just to waylay this Furia assault. And they're waiting on some of those abilities to come back online, but we're now down under 40 seconds. And they're not seeing any probing from the defenders. Good discipline here for mibr to hold their lines. Smoke to top mid, maybe hoping to pull someone out of Link. They've got that player, of course, in mid as
30
Havoc.
seconds left.
On a solo mission to mess with Mazine. Wins it out, even though he gets caught inside the trip. Shandy now wants to confirm, see who's here, but that 0 point gets blown up. Flash deployed now, and out of top mid, Arzing tried to go, but Havoc caught him there as well. This is breaking down awfully quick. The Artsy and Parla grouped up behind this box. It's just Khalil with the spike here, and now it has to be salvaged. Havoc has to make his way through after doing most of the heavy lifting in this round to save it for Furia. At risk of getting thrifty now, Furia hope Havoc can get the job done. He's down to 35, then he won't have time to plant it. That is absolutely brutal. mibr thrifted them to even up the game.
It all began with that first shot from Paula getting the man advantage. Furia were hoping that with that noise cut and a bit of pressure, there would be rotations off, but that pressure from Havoc came just a little bit too late. There was no moment for mibr to even really consider actually rotating off because the round had gotten so down, you know, the clock getting so down low at that point that they were just sturdy in the sight. No reason to leave A.
Okay, now we're even once more. And mibr have been able to get an operator into the hands of Parla. Holding the tiles angle right now. Havoc just ruins Rich.
Not only does Rich go down, he had the one ultimate in play. Thrash no longer on the field, no longer an option for mibr.
Fury here struggling with those gun rounds in that first half. Hoping to flip the script on that particular stat. In a round with neither team has their economy fully established. This could still break either one of these squads. And W0 dives in into his own cloudburst he goes. Hit with the paranoia on the way in, but still relatively safe. And they've got that market smoked off. Should be a semi-safe plant here. Fault line though, interrupts Noswell, so the paint shell's thrown in there off a good timing by Parla, gets a little bit of damage. And this operator's about to be sorely tested, and Shandy walks straight into it. Basically holds the barrel up to his own forehead there. Still a plant though for Furia. Mazine now being pushed here inside Boba. Aftershock to force NW0 off the angle, and he's hit by a flash. It's Havoc already found 3 in this round though. Furia, player advantage to operate with. Parla pinged out. Now gets triple face and nothing he could do there. It's just Mazine left. Furia able to bully their way in. Pick up those 2 kills in Boba by taking much of the side away.
I appreciate mibr's attempt there to exploit Furia's lack of Gecko. Normally, it would just be that wingman planting safely. You don't have to commit a player to doing it. But with this comp, they have to commit to someone sticking. That's where that fault line came in with the nade from Parla and Market. It just didn't do enough for them. Furia proactive, fighting back sight. Love to see that from them. This game is coming down to the wire, Mitch.
They kept 3 guns, have Furia. Obviously, Artazine at least able to keep a Vandal in hand here. See Havoc obviously finding 3 on the round there. Beautiful opener down mid to start with. I like that aftershock to force MW0 off the line, but Havoc, Furia rather, were always there in numbers. Double, triple facing every one of those targets, peeking out a Boba at them.
And this match has just evolved into a Cypher showdown. Both of them on attack going crazy, both even at 22 for 14. Putting on a show. This is just a Cypher dominant map as well. The agent has so much influence here.
mibr just took a contact peek to B lobby. I think they're surmising that that is the Cypher side of the map for Furia. Parla even turned to anti-flash for this. Bolt line. Parla wants to chase this. Frenzy in hand. Can't quite get to grips with Havoc though, as he is able to abscond over towards the middle part of the map. Elsewhere, Furia grouping up here for an 8 hit. It's a very underheld site by the defenders.
With all that noise made from the defenders in B main, Furia feel pretty content with working up towards A. They know it's going to be the weaker site, and they are correct. This should be a free plant. Absolutely is. And with the superior weaponry, MW going down early though. Was that just pure spam? No, Mazin. He was on top of the box, has that angle over the smoke. Heads up from him to get the first.
He dropped off of it though. There might be a double, triple face here, but this spot is dirty for Shundi. Obviously, Thrash doesn't check it. Back through backside into elbow. He had the timing. He gets checked, but Shundi's able to bring 2 down. He has to respond at the very least, but now he needs to deal with the rest of the threat on the side. Across the side goes Rich. He's trying to get in the elbow. Swings it, finds Khalil. 33 HP. Needs to win this out against Havoc because the defenders are running out of time. It's just Mazin. And he's got nowhere to go. Trapped by Furia, who have no reason to overextend that fight. And they get their 12th round on the board.
It was a slow start for Noswar, but he is finding his value in this second half. A couple rounds now with really big impact. I mean, at some point it was, what, like 0-8, and at the least now it was, he's 7 for 12. He's getting back in there. He's closing out some of these crucial rounds.
Oh, this spot every time. I love that from Rich. He knew he had to dive into elbow and make something happen there. Fury were able to slow it down when they realized they had that player advantage, and time was not on mibr's side. Here we go. Important round. Finally, mibr can buy up.
This could be it for them. Shandy, crucially, 1 away from the null command. And on the opposing side, Paula is 1 away from the showstopper. There's nothing particularly proactive to get either of the orbs yet, though, with Furia working slowly towards B. If they get that for Shandy, look, Artin is on the site. Trips could be turned off. Util could be turned off here.
Shandy has that null command online now. They do get spotted out in B lobby though, and that deters them to some degree. MW0 lingered. But look at this, yeah. Havoc has gotten so far up mid. It's a ratty spot to play, very powerful now. They might be looking for a late flank.
And it's a spot where he's been playing frequently. And look, if Artzin does get captured by this null command, that trip in market will be turned off. Havoc will have a free flank to walk in. So mibr are going to need to be watching that right now. They could find a great timing.
Artazine hit by that suppressed. Molly, though, won't be putting a scratch on him. Here come Furia. Onto the side they go. Artazine here, hoping to play off Parlor if they possibly can. Here comes Shandy with his back turned. Flash was good, but Artazine out of the range of it. Rich comes out from market, quite aggressive. We're now in a 2 versus 2. Still pre-plant, mind you. mibr are trying to get Liazi here into Bo, but that will be smoked.
Smoke to try to plant safely, but it's just a tap. Khalil works to stairs now. Paranoia remaining. 2 flashes for Liazi as well.
Paranoia being lined up here. Liazi has to go for it, but it was a TP out for Khalil. He altered now to B lobby. We're all 2v2. The game on the line. Tough for the defenders to break this. Khalil sweeps it, and he's gotten 3 in that last round. Furia get the job done. An awkward first half, some weird landings, but Havoc comes alive. It was a cypher map, make no mistake. And beautiful finish here from Furia. Great recovery too.
Both teams showing a lot of prowess on the attacking side. That's what it really came down to. Furia's play on the A side was just better than mibr's, though. That is where mibr were giving some rounds up. So successful on B. Artsin's timing for the flanks in the post plant, elite on that side of the map. But on the side swap, the domination from Havoc.
I mean, compelling match in general. We like the comp from Fury, right? Mix it up a little bit and see what the Jet can do. A lot of those dashes into cloud bursts on the side. Nice to see Fury experimenting still at this stage of the season. We're going to head to a break, but next, Golden Boy and the Atlas are going to jump on in and break down that first map for us.
Every time I needed a new phone, I had to switch carriers.
I told him, at Verizon, everyone can get the best deals. Like that iPhone 15 on them.
Switching all the time, it wasn't easy.
35. You're gonna be here forever.
I know.
Here's your wireless contract.
Do I need a lawyer for this? Those were hard days.
Representative, switch!
Now that I got a huge storage and battery upgrade, I'm officially done switching.
New and existing customers get iPhone 15 on us when they trade in any iPhone, any condition, guaranteed.
I really wish you told me sooner.
I did.
Red Bull gives you wings.